when it comes to illegal annexations and international law, how come international law never counts and never matters when Israel is annexing Syria, for example, right? Or annexing Jerusalem, which is, the UN said clearly Jerusalem is supposed to be independent. It doesn't belong to anyone because it's such it's of utmost importance for Muslims, Jews, and Christians, right, as a holy city. So it's going to be a separate body. That was the idea. And the Israelis just ignored that, and they illegally annexed it. And the UN, even the US at the time, like everybody on the Security Council, came out and said, this is bad, it's illegal. But what changed? Donald Trump comes in, and he reverses that, and he says, you know what? Jerusalem is Israeli, and we are even moving our embassy there. You know what? The Golan Heights are not Syrian anymore. They're Israeli. And the United States starts redrawing maps, literally redrawing maps, official maps, to show the occupied Syrian Golan Heights as Israeli. And so Joe Biden's administration comes in afterwards, and who's the new Secretary of State? It's not Mike Pompeo, it's Tony Blinken. And Tony Blinken goes to the United Nations General Assembly and starts lecturing Russia about, redrawing maps. And he himself, Mr. Blinken, was saying that the Biden administration is not going to change what Donald Trump did. That he and Mr. Biden are going to continue recognizing the Syrian Golan Heights as Israeli. So when it suits him, when it suits Mr. Blinken, when it suits Mr. Biden, they're fine with redrawing maps when it's good for Israel or it's good for the US. They have no problem seizing territory by force. Remember, Joe Biden was a huge proponent of invading Iraq. They don't have any problem with that. But all of a sudden, when Russia's doing it, now they care, right? And even then, I don't think it's fair to compare those whatsoever, right? Because you cannot make a claim that there are Israelis living in the Golan Heights and that's why Israel wanted to annex it. No, they're Syrians. As a matter of fact, Israel is doubling the number of illegal settlements in the Golan Heights on purpose so they can legitimize and try to justify annexing it illegally. But there were no Israelis there. This is Syria, right? So you can't even make that argument. You can't even compare that to what is happening in Ukraine, where there are actual Russians living in eastern Ukraine. And I think there was a very important quote. I don't know if this was Putin. I think many people have said this during the last 30 years, that when the Soviet Union ended, from one day to the next, you have literally tens of millions of Russians who suddenly found themselves in a new country. Right? So that's also something to take into consideration. But I just want to show you that the most important point to remember here is the hypocrisy. They are such hypocrites. The West are the ultimate hypocrites. They had no problem redrawing Serbia's borders, right? They had no problem with the Kosovo referendum. They had no problem invading Iraq, invading Libya, invading Syria. Right now, as I am speaking to you, the United States is occupying 1/3 of Syria, stealing the oil in plain sight. Hypocrisy of the highest order. That is all I have to say.